This is Silph Radio, a Pokemon-centered podcast. I'm Nathan K, and today, here to help me discuss the Gen 1 betas. You can find him on YouTube. He sometimes goes by the HypedCheezeHead, but I know him as Steve Humphrey. Welcome back to the Secret Room, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back in the Secret Room. Hello, internets. I hope everything is going well, and let's kick some ass.
Hell yeah. We had you on this podcast once before. We discussed Pokemon Stadium.
Yep.
And just recently we did a Dragon Ball Z episode over on Fair Enough, so you guys might want to go check those out.
Check it out.
It's been a while since you've been here on Silph, though, so I figured an introduction was in order. I know you just recently started up a new series to coincide with the start of football season on YouTube, did you not?
Yes, sir. Welcome back to football, everybody. The series is going to be called The HypedCheezeHead, H-Y-P-E-D, cheese with a Z, head as in, mine is kind of empty, but, you know.
Yeah, I know the first episode was about the merger, which as a lot of people who are listeners know, I don't know football. It's the sport I probably know the least about. Well, that's not true. I guess I know.
You try.
I probably know more from having lived with you for a few years, and even before
I tried
then,
very hard.
I probably knew a little more about football than I did, I guess, baseball or whatever, just because it was higher profile.
I dig it. But yeah, it was my first episode was on the AFL-NFL merger. It's about 40, 50 years ago, and yeah, if you want to learn about it, you go ahead and check it out. Go to the HypedCheezeHead. It's good stuff. My next episode is going to be on the NFL's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Most of the time I'll be talking flattery and good stuff about the NFL, but this time will not be.
Okay, I'm very interested to hear. I've actually read a few articles. I remember discussing this with you a year ago or so, so I'm going to check that out. It's not just like talking about like what's going on right now. I mean, I'm sure you'll want to do that. But
I will want to, yes, I will. Once I start getting more things going, I'll probably even, if I get enough viewers, I might even start doing fantasy advice, things of that nature.
But I mean, just from watching, I watched the first episode just to see what you had going on, and it's historical. It has you can watch it. I mean, as somebody who's not a football fan, you're probably not going to go out of your way to.
Yeah.
But as someone who's not a football fan but wanted to watch my friend's YouTube video,
right,
it wasn't just like, oh my God, this is boring or I have no context. It's like, fair point, I think. Like we try to do with that, make it so that even if you're not into the topic, you could still enjoy it. And I
appreciate it. Yeah, everybody check it out. There's music and stuff. Steve Humphrey online. Just check it out. Whatever.
The Steve Humphrey on YouTube, right?
Don't. You can just cut that out. I'm not even going to bother telling people about the URL.
Well, I'm the master of segues, so I don't know if you've heard, but our worlds crossed over recently. ESPN just recently ran an interview with Eric Murray of the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know these people. Do you know who this is?
I don't necessarily know who Eric Murray is myself.
Minnesota DB. What's that? Defensive?
It's a defensive back.
Defensive back.
He's either a cornerback, which covers the wide receivers, or he's a safety, which covers the back behind everybody.
Well, I'm sorry if you're listening. He's just like really sad if he's listening that we didn't know who he was. He's okay with it. I don't know because I don't know football, but he's like, Steve, man. Broke his heart.
I don't know who he is. He's garbage. I bet he plays for the.
Oh my God! You're breaking his heart.
He plays for the fucking Vikings. I don't fucking know.
And we just lost our
Minnesota fan base. I try to stay unbiased on my show, so I mean, just go over there.
Well, he was being interviewed. I'm cool with him in my book. He was being interviewed, and the entire interview turned to a Pokemon interview.
No shit.
They asked him. They said, fill in the blank for me, Eric. I'm a big nerd when it comes to, and he followed that up with Pokemon and anime. But and then they just kept asking him shit about Pokemon, and I'm like, no fucking way. And I was reading it.
So was it scripted, or did they? Like, do you think it was scripted, or were they just randomly asking him questions? And
their next question was, so let's combine a Pokemon question with a football one then. So they were probably planning on doing this with whatever he was a nerd.
Yeah, they knew he was a nerd about Pokemon. They planned the questions
Like if he said Batman. Maybe they did. Okay.
Because I'm saying, like, I want if the reporter was like just doing this live and just making up Pokemon questions on the fly, that's pretty cool to me. I think that's amazing.
They probably either knew that he was into that, heard it from someone, or or we're just planning on doing certain types of questions. If he had said Batman, maybe switching it to Batman questions. Yeah. But they asked him if Jerry Kill was a Pokemon, what would he be? Who's Jerry Kill?
Jerry Kill, I'm a... Shit,
you have no idea?
Shit, dude, I'm drawing a blank.
Damn, I was going to ask you to see if you guessed the same Pokemon.
Yeah, no, Jerry, I'm assuming, shit, you want to look it up? Because I'm curious now.
Sure.
I hate to sound ignorant. It's probably going to be somebody I should know.
All right, Steve. Jerry Kill is the head football coach at the University of Minnesota.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that's out of my jurisdiction at the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at a picture of him. Oh, okay. I see it. He said, I'm going to go with a newer generation Pokemon. The Pokemon's name is Scraggy. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, because I love Scraggy and Scrafty. He's the lizard one with the baggy pants.
Yeah.
And I was expecting it must be somebody urban or something, because that's what Scraggy's based off of. He had baggy pants and stuff.
He's thugging it, yeah.
And it's like an old, bald, white dude with a big mustache. And okay, but he was saying because he's got little buck teeth and he's got a bald head.
Oh.
Scraggy because he's got a little bald head and a big smile. Okay.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. At least, yeah. So yeah, he's
having fun with it.
That's fun.
It was. I thought that was really cool, and I don't know. I thought I'd ask you. I thought maybe you'd have some reference for the people in this article.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I don't know the Minnesota college any of the Minnesota college football coaches. That's something I need to get more in touch with.
That's interesting though too, because remember Ash references the Minnesota Vikings.
He does.
In the movie.
He is a Vikings. He mentions which one was that? The second movie?
No, it was the first movie.
Was it the first movie? They were on the boat, right?
Jesse and James show up as Vikings or something. He's like, but we're not even in Minnesota,
yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah. So it kind of. But are the movies in that anime canon, or is that like
they're canon with the anime?
Are they?
Not with the. Yeah, they're not like Dragon Ball Z movies.
Yeah, it's not like Dragon Ball Z movies. Right?
They're canon with the anime, but that's not canon with the game necessarily.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a few references to in the games. There's like a reference to Russia. There's a reference to America. Lieutenant Surge is the Lightning American.
Yep.
I remember that. Mew was cited in South America.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't remember. There's a few references to the real world. It is puzzling. It's weird.
So like, is it taking place on a completely, absolutely desolate island that no one? It can't be islands because it's a whole. They have like continents practically.
It could be like an Oz thing where it's like there is this other land somewhere in the real world. I think it's more when they say like Unova was clearly based on America and like Kalos is clearly based on Europe and the previous generations. If you put the regions together, it makes up Japan. Maybe Japan is what they call that collection of regions, and America is what they call the place where Unova is. I don't know. That's my best.
I feel like they kind of just fucked up.
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
They kind of just dropped the ball a little bit, and fans are trying to make up for it.
Yeah, but Star Wars fans don't just admit that. They fucking retroactively explain that shit.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, they can make anything up. They've got your back. No matter what happens, they'll make it up.
When George Lucas drops the ball, Star Wars fans pick it up. Is this just a football thing going on today?
They run with it. They pick it up and run with it.
So we as Pokemon fans can't continue to drop the ball. We have to retroactively. That's what this podcast is all about, man.
Fair. What would Star Wars do?
Speaking of retroactively, looking at things, I'm the master at segues.
He is. That was actually not that bad.
Today's topic, as we mentioned, was the Generation 1 betas. So we're going to look at some interesting facts about the original versions of the red and green version.
I'm in.
The red, the blue version, the yellow version. Basically, do you know the history of the Pokemon games, like the order they came out and all this?
I believe so. I believe, does it go green and red were released in Japan initially?
Yes, those were the original Pokemon games. They had different sprites than we see in our version.
Okay.
And the red version had the same type of Pokemon. The green version had totally different Pokemon available than our blue version. They later released a blue version with updated sprites and everything, and we got the red and blue version.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the green version, I think you could like catch wild Jinx and stuff like that. Like there were certain Pokemon that were not available in the other two.
Okay, yeah, I remember being younger and wondering where Venusaur was. because they brought out Pikachu, and I'm like, well, what about the Bulbasaur evolution? That's not fair.
As in, why he didn't have a game?
Why he didn't have a game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they brought out Pikachu, and I'm like, what the hell is this? and then every other continuation since forth made sense. Like, it was either like the legendary or something of that sort. Like,
they've never done the starters since. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they just do legendaries. Wow.
It kind of, I guess it makes sense. The first generation, the starting generation has the starters, but like, yeah, if Red and Blue came out nowadays, it'd be like Moltres and Articuno.
Well, I mean, I wonder if it's kind of the chicken or the egg, but if everyone's favorite are the starters, maybe for one of those reasons, because the initial Gen 1 starters are still everyone's favorite starters, maybe besides Silver.
I love the
Gold and Silver are really cool.
The Gold and Silver starters are cool. I like Typhlosion. I'm not a big fan of the other two. The only generation that I like all three starters is Gen 1, and this newest generation actually came the closest, I think, as far as I fucking love Greninja, the frog, Froakie. And the other two are cool, too.
Yeah. I had the fox. I forget what her name is.
Fennekin is the younger one.
Yes.
Delphox and... New Pokemon still stump me. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Silph Radio, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm underqualified.
He doesn't get paid for this shit.
So yeah, we're also going to kind of touch upon the Japanese versions because they're sort of the betas to our version. But we're also going to talk about the beta that never got made. That's what, to people that aren't familiar with the terminology, I'm going to assume not everyone's super, super nerdy. A beta is like the version that they're play testing, that they're creating, and then the finished product comes out. So what was different in early versions of this game that never saw the light of day? You know, stuff like that.
Was the truck going to be useful?
Fuck. I'll tell you right now, we don't have an answer to that. That is the one thing that will always, till the day I die, if we never hear, will always drive me crazy.
That's what he's going to say to his child. Those are going to be his last words.
On my deathbed, I'll be like, don't forget about the truck.
Don't forget the truck. You should make a shirt. That sounds like a cool shirt. Don't forget the truck.
Like, if I want to meet somebody that worked on Pokemon and bring a translator and ask them, like, just please, what was the point of the truck? I know it doesn't do anything. I know you can't use strength to move it and find Mew. It's just a truck.
Where is this truck again?
It's to the right when you go down to the SSN screen. When you're about to board the SSN.
Okay.
If you have Surf, or if you don't finish the SSN battle and then go through the game, get Surf, come back, and the SSN hasn't left, you can surf over, and there's just a random truck there.
A random truck is there. Okay.
And back in the day, the rumors were that you would find Mew there. And when I found the truck, I didn't believe it because there were so many fake codes. I was like, this one's real.
This is the fucking truck.
I spent so much time trying to move that truck. Nothing. But like, there had to be a reason it was there.
Yeah, that's the only hint of vehicles or anything of the sort in Pokemon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't recall ever seeing in the new ones. Do they drive in the new ones?
Yes, in the newer ones, I think time has passed and they're more technologically developed in the new ones.
They seem kind of technologically developed, like, initially already from the get-go. Like, where were their cars already? Like,
right.
There should have been more cars.
Well, they have Pokemon. They don't need cars.
They don't need cars. We can fly, for Christ's sakes.
They were like, cars suck. They were like, we don't need to develop cars and
they
build.
Destroy our planet.
Yeah, we got to build roads, and then they're gonna like we got to develop electric hybrid cars.
Yeah,
and
we'll just use the shit out of our Pokemon, out of our slave pets.
They're not slaves though; it's a partnership.
Yes, that's true. They're not. I don't know if they're all partnerships. Like, for instance, for the beta screenshots of the Pokemon Red and Green, do you recall those? Like, when Pokemon are like just trapped in cages and
in the concept art.
Yeah, concept art.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
there's a lot more whips.
Yeah. They were probably not enjoying that. That looked like more like slavery.
They did also originally intend it to be more of a pet master relationship, but then throughout the development they started focusing more on making it, what if they were more like friends and they actually had that type of relationship. But it really is the way that the series has developed. Like, Pokemon seek out a trainer to fulfill their potential, and it's a partnership, so it's not just being used. But yes, not every human relationship's healthy.
Fair enough.
there's a lot that we could get into about that concept art, and I'm going to avoid it a little bit because I want to do a whole episode about capsule monsters.
Okay.
That's what Pokemon was originally going to be.
Yeah.
But that was in the pre-planning stages, in the planning stages before it was ever a game. And what we're talking about now is once they actually started making a game and moving forwards.
I'm interested. Okay.
It was changed to Pocket Monsters because of a copyright issue in Japan.
Okay.
But then there was a copyright issue for Pocket Monsters in America because of Monsters in My Pocket.
Okay.
So they had to change it to Pokemon. Yep. And have you ever seen any of the early artwork? Do you remember? You've seen some of it if you looked at the early strategy guides or instruction booklets.
No, I don't recall ever seeing any of them.
No?
No, I don't believe so.
Pictures of like red and blue, Gary and Ash, if you will.
Oh, well, what about the picture of red, blue, and green?
Yes. And the girl.
Yep.
Absolutely. And they're standing on... Now, in Japan, green is the name of our blue, but he's blue in America, so
okay,
that's what we're going to call him.
Yeah, I remember seeing a picture. Green had a Bulbasaur. No. Green had... hang on, let me correct myself. Green had the Charmander, right?
No, Squirtle.
Damn it.
And all the art...
That would have been my next guess.
Oh, you don't say.
That would have been my next guess.
Jigglypuff, right? Because she's a girl. No, in all of the art, red had a Bulbasaur, blue or green in Japan, Gary, had a Charizard or Charmander, and the girl, green, had a Squirtle. There's also a scene drawn by Ken Sugimori where red is flying on a Pidgeotto, and Gary's flying after him on a Charizard, breathing fire. So, wow, I never thought about it, but that's some serious shit. Red could fall off that Pidgeotto and die.
Red has the weakest Pokemon. Red is the bitchest of them all. I mean,
it's not like they're battling.
No
they're
offense
in
to
air.
Bulbasaur, but like no one picks up Bulbasaur, and he's got Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur is awesome.
Bulbasaur is awesome, but no one picks Bulbasaur because Squirtle and Charmander are awesomer.
Bulbasaur is still one of the most popular Pokemon.
Because he's Gen 1. He's one of the Gen 1 starters.
People do pick Bulbasaur.
But not as much as Squirtle and Charmander.
Fair, I guess.
But what were we saying?
There was originally going to be a female protagonist in the game. Like whether or not she would be playable or be another secondary NPC like Blue, we don't know. But that was planned to be part of the game and was eventually scrapped.
Well, maybe there wasn't enough data, but I mean, it was just an extra character. Why bother not making the sprite?
Slimming down the game, and the original default names for the two players that did make it into the game were going to be Nintendo and Sony for your character in the rival, instead of like Ash and Gary or whatever.
Interesting.
I don't know. I feel like maybe they dropped that because they're like, wait, then anyone who buys the blue version is going to be playing as Sony. Yeah.
So, they don't want to do that. And then Sony's just going to be beating on Nintendo the entire time.
Yeah, right? Then Sony's the champion at the end.
Sony's the champ. That wouldn't have turned out well.
Interesting. Just weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
So there were originally planned to be 190 Pokemon. And there were going to be 190 in this game. But they eventually took 40 of them out. I mean, 39 because Mew was put in the game. Now, Mew was put in the game after basically the game had been finished. It had been debugged. And then they took the debugging software out. And then they were like, fuck it. And they put Mew in, which was a risky move because you don't add stuff to a game after you've removed the debugging software because then you might cause unexpected glitches or bugs. But they did it anyway.
Which is what Mew was, isn't it? The only way you can legitimately get Mew is through a whole tedious...
Yeah, but they did pretty well because it took like 20 years for anybody to figure out the bug to get him.
Yeah, they actually... Yeah, that was good shit. That's good shit.
Mew, it's weird. Like, so there's no way there was 190 Pokemon and no Mew. They must have taken 40 out and then been like, you know what? Mew's got to be in this. We can't take Mew out. Put him back in. We'll give him away as a prize or something. But 39 other Pokemon were going to be in the game. Most of them, I'm pretty sure, were just Gold and Silver Pokemon.
Yeah, so they did make it to Gen 2.
Yes. But oddly enough, those 39, we're not going to explain how Missing No works, but Missing No is basically one of those 39 Pokemon that's taken out. Any one of those. There was no zero Pokemon, but if the game looks for a slot that was originally going to have one of those,
it grabs one of those.
Yes, and Missing No comes up because there is no data
There's
for
nothing
it. And
there, yep.
That was the placeholder that they created to fill the spot.
I see.
Really interesting. Really, really interesting. The dog trio was originally going to be in it. I know that much. Entei, Suicune, Raikou.
Oh, really? I did not know that. No, that's awesome. But there would have been a ton of legendaries in that game. Oh my gosh, the birds and the dogs.
Well, there's not that many legendaries in the first gen compared to the newer ones,
Oh yeah, I guess you're right because you got Arceus. You have all sorts of. Is Entei in the dog trio and Zapdos and them? Are they in the newer gens as well?
They're in Golden Silver. Oh, well, sometimes, but there's usually more legendaries released with each generation now than there used to be.
Yeah, and it pretty much just strictly goes throughout that legendary. Like you're not really going to get Lugia in the new games, Lugia and Ho-Oh in the new games.
The legendary dogs are in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And it's funny because I didn't know that. They are so rare and what happens is they're wandering the region, but you just run into them in tall grass. And at any given moment, one of them, you only get one in your version, I think, is at any one map that exists in the game. And every time you move to a new screen, they move to a new screen in one direction from the screen they're on. So it's just, and then even then, the encounter rate's so low. I had no idea they were in the games, and I didn't have the internet then. Like, this was a while ago, and I was playing it, and suddenly a fucking Entei showed up.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what the fuck, Master Ball?
Like I was chucked the Master Ball, dude. I cannot blame you, dude.
And then I was talking about the struggle. I was like, I gotta catch Mewtwo, and this is fucking hard. He keeps whooping my ass. And
at least you know where he is.
Justin was like, just use your Master Ball, and I was like, I already used it. And he's like, why the fuck did you use your Master? What did you use it on if not Mewtwo? And I'm like, Entei. I didn't know he was in the game. Apparently they're in the game. He's like, yeah, they're in the game. You don't have to use your Master Ball. You can whittle down their health, and every time you see them, their health stays the same. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know that.
Fuck you, Justin. I'm joking.
But yeah, apparently you run into them, and they run on their next turn. So you just have to.
Of course they do.
You hit them once if you're fast enough, and then the next time you run into them. And there's a way to try to make them appear that like you can trick the programming or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, but
right.
But yeah, do you think, speaking of Entei, so if Entei was going to be in Gen 1, it's interesting because Arcanine is known as a legendary. He's like known as the legendary Pokemon, but he's not actually a legendary. And he's a fire dog.
Right. I mean, do you think he was initially, like,
Entei?
Arcanine was Entei?
And then they just kind of reworked it and made it just a regular Pokemon. And then in
possible.
Gold and Silver, they're like, fuck it, let's bring back that dog trio.
Right. Arcanine did always kind of have that feng shui about him, he was always kind of I mean, I guess I can't really recall knowing him as the legendary dog or the legendary Pokemon.
You know how Pokemon have like a species name, like Chansey is egg Pokemon.
Oh yes,
Bulbasaur is seed Pokemon.
Yeah. Okay, so he's legendary
Pokemon. Yeah,
and he's the only one like Dragonite's what he's like dragon Pokemon or something.
He's kind of like a Chinese dog dragon thing, the foo dogs or whatever they're called.
Okay.
So that's always why I assume. But it kind of makes sense if Entei was going to be in there that just got reworked into that Pokemon.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. There's art you can find, too, that was posted on Pokemon.com or PocketMonsters.com or whatever. This is early, 96 or something, And there's, early versions of the Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill line. I don't remember what their names are. I think it's the same names that they have in Japanese. But they look way different, and the final evolution isn't a bee. It's like a beetle that stands on its hind legs, and then it has two sets of arms with kind of Mickey Mouse.
Nice.
It looks like it punches or something. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, it kind of almost sounds like a Ledian or Lediba or whatever. Right. So maybe, but yeah.
And then there was early art of Dragonair that looked really slightly different but cool. Poliwag and Poliwhirl or Poliwrath. Poliwrath had a little crown. I don't know. It's really cool to me to look at these early versions of it because there's not much out there.
Right. kind of what the game would have been or was even. Like that's awesome. I mean, I have no complaints at all with the game that we have, really, besides a couple of, obviously, the same things that everyone has. I mean, personally, Charizard can't learn Fly in the initial version. I hate
That was
that.
fucking stupid,
Like,
yeah.
I planned an entire, like, Pokemon Stadium team on that, like, predicated on him using Fly or things along those nature.
Flying type Pokemon.
Yep. Anything of those nature. There's things that should have been done, but
even the early designs, like just when they were first starting to like draw Pokemon or promote Pokemon, like Charmander had like the two little nubs on his back, kind of. Pikachu was like fatter.
Does Charmeleon? I feel like I remember in the games. I feel like Charmeleon has a couple of nubs on his back. It's like bulges, like he's a beast. You
can find pictures with Pikachu having like a white belly. Like distinctly different, and yeah, I don't know.
That's fun. Look it up.
Mew looked a lot more like an embryo. Creepy ass, fucking weird, like fetus looking Mew.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see. I that kind of makes a little sense, I guess.
The names too. As far as some of the early English Pokemon names were kind of lazy. I don't want to say they're lazy. They weren't lazy. It's just that the developers decided to step their game up. And, like, Kakuna was Cocoon. Rattata was Rat Attack.
Yeah.
Sandslash was Sandstorm. Vulpix was Foxfire.
I kind of like Sandstorm. Foxfire's kind of fun, too.
Paris was Parasite. Growlithe and Arcanine were Flamey and Blaze. Like, it's just kind of like...
yeah, that's really bad. Oh, God.
I think they had the foresight to... Like, Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, Spirit, Spectre, Phantom.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, that sounds like a card game.
They're just... names of art, things that exist. We need to give these their own identities, and they were right because that helped them.
Most certainly, absolutely, it would.
What is that? That's a Gengar. It's not a Phantom. A lot of things could be a Phantom.
Right. Like that's kind of one of my biggest problems with Ni no Kuni, Wrath of White Witch, because like I really feel like everything is just nothing ever really when it evolves. It's nothing special. It doesn't really get much bigger. Anything. It just kind of stays the same, and it's not really worth it. And I don't remember any of the creatures' names. I think they're called familiars. I don't remember any of the familiars' names. Like
designing fucking a monster battling game with iconic looking monsters is fucking hard. They have to be simple, but they can't be too simple, and it's hard.
They're like if I completely kept up with it like I used to, we would know if we did. Like we would know all. What is it? Like 700 Pokemon now? How many is it? Like
I know them all. I just
like off the top of your head, you'd be able to just spit them all off to you. Like how many of us can do that? I'm sure there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can just spit off every single Pokemon off to you. Like,
in order.
Probably in order. Like. So,
I wonder how far I could get with red and blue in order.
Red and blue, I mean, in order, I don't necessarily know, but I could give you all the way up to silver. Probably, I can give you the first two generations.
I wonder how close I would get in order if I tried. I'm not going to do it right now, but
I wouldn't do it quite well. Charmeleon.
But yeah, their names were interesting. Poliwag, that whole family was Aqua, Aquanow, Aquamar. I don't know. The Machop family was Karate, Kung Fu, Judo.
That's all whack.
Yeah. Marowak was Guardia. That's kind of cool.
That's cool. I dig that. That should have stayed.
Gyarados was Skullkraken, which that was the name of my metal band in high school.
That's not a bad name for a band, bro.
Skullkraken.
Yeah, right.
Coughing and wheezing were Nye and La, NY and LA.
Yeah.
New York and LA.
New York and LA.
Pollution. Nah.
That's that. I mean, at least they tried something. They were thinking of something.
But Nye and La.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Ditto was Morpho. Eevee was Eon. Scyther was Strike.
Yeah, that's lame.
Farfetch'd was Fowler. Slowpoke was Slow-Mo. Rapidash was Gallop.
That's,
yeah, see... So they definitely stepped up their game with naming.
Totally. I dig that.
There were a lot of the differences were just minor differences that it makes sense that they changed. Originally, trainers would challenge you every time you walked by them, regardless of whether or not you had already beaten them.
Oh, what?
So that would be a pain in the ass.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
How did you heal your Pokemon?
Dude, that would... Yeah, right? You just stand there, though. That would suck, though. I would not have fun doing that. I don't know about that. That was a good call.
I went the wrong way.
Fuck, yeah, dude. Those caves, dude, oh my gosh. That was a good call on their part, taking that out.
Yeah. Wild Pokemon, the encounter rates were also a lot higher. So,
really?
Yeah.
At least you'd be strong. You'd have some really... all your Pokemon would be at level 100, probably. You'd probably max everyone out.
Right. Whenever you fought trainers, too, it would say, the blank wants to fight. So it would be like, the lass wants to fight. The gambler wants to fight. But that caused problems because then it would be like, the Misty wants to fight.
Yeah.
And so they just took the out. And you can find early screenshots, though, that say, like, the Brock wants to fight and whatnot.
The Brock.
And I'm sure you've heard that Professor Oak actually has teams programmed into the game.
Yeah, it's 3, right?
Yeah, they're the same team, but it depends on which Pokemon was left. Like, if you took Charmander and your rival took Squirtle, then he would have Venusaur when you fight him.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's the same teams except the starter is different. Yeah, that makes sense.
Level 69 starter, a level 66 Tauros, a level 67 Exeggutor, a level 68 Arcanine, and a level 70 Gyarados.
That's not bad. I mean, you'd be able to take that though once you beat the game. You'd be able to take that.
He was pretty high though. That's higher than Blue when he was champion.
Okay, so yeah, that is legitimate.
Yeah, that would have been a really
Why
awesome
isn't Oak champion.
That they should have kept that in there. That would have been a great surprise.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, are you saying this is? You should put you? Would you put that? Would you put that before or after the Mewtwo fight?
Oh, I don't know. I guess that would be up to you because it's post game. But if you go back to Oak's lab, maybe he's like, yeah, let's fight. The Oak wants to fight.
Yeah, I see you've captured a Mewtwo.
That would have been a really cool surprise. It's too bad. There's no dialogue programmed actually though for it, so you can use like little glitches and whatever to
fight him. You can battle him,
but there's no dialogue, so that's kind of sucks. You don't know what he would say or what the context was. But there's also an unused trainer class, the Chief or the Silph Manager.
What?
The guy who ran Silph Co. was going to be a trainer, and we don't know what his team is. There's no team programmed in.
Okay.
There was no sprite programmed in, so it just uses the team and sprite for the next trainer in line, like in the data, which is a scientist. So
okay, yeah, that's.
But there's also like they found like hidden data in the Safari Zone that suggests that the Chief was supposed to be there. So like I don't know. I guess there must have been something early on in the game where you would encounter the president of Silph Co. or something in the Safari Zone. Maybe he would give you an item. I don't know.
No. I've never heard anything about that.
No, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's. I just wonder why. Like that, it's kind of cool. They slimmed it down, but what was it going to be? What part in the story did they cut out? For cutting off the fat that was like you run into the Silph president.
You run into him in the Safari Zone, and and then you end up meeting him. Where is that? Is this in the Silph Co? Where is that?
Silph Co is in Saffron.
It's that's what I figured. So that's I don't know. And you get to the Safari Zone before you get to Saffron, correct? Yeah, definitely. You definitely do. So
Sabrina's
you'd go there.
The second to last gym leader, right?
You'd go there. You'd meet him. Yeah, you'd go there. You'd meet him. Team Rocket, blah, blah, blah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, so that is before Saffron. So maybe it would be...
You'd meet him.
He'd be like, oh, Team Rocket's taking over my company.
Team Rocket's coming over.
Go.
Yep.
Or something.
Yep, something of the sort, yeah. Huh. And then you get the Master Ball after you go and beat up Team Rocket.
There's some type of... The only, option dialogues in the game where you get to choose something are for yes and no or heal and cancel at the Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
But in the data, there's stuff for north or west, north or east, and south or east, but no south or west. I don't know why. No one knows why.
Maybe that was what the initial fly was going to be. Maybe you were going to fly to that general direction, and then instead they were just like, let's just let them fly to whatever town they want to.
Okay. That's a really good theory.
Bam.
Huh.
Solved, ladies and gentlemen.
But that's just a theory.
A game theory. Shout out to Matt Pat. That's good shit, bro.
Items, too. There was a bunch of items that didn't make their way in. All the badges were originally actual key items that would actually take up space in your bag. And most of them don't do anything if you, find the data and trigger it in the game. But the Boulder and Cascade badges seem to allow you to be able to throw bait and rocks in Pokemon Battle.
That's for the Safari Zone.
You do that in the Safari Zone, but this seems to let you do it just in regular Pokemon battles.
Oh, okay. I was about to start tying in the Silph co-manager to the Safari Zone I was about to do a whole conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I don't know. That is really interesting, though. Like, why would you throw bait and rocks? Like, maybe to help you catch them, I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, I mean, you've been doing that already.
Or maybe if you ran out of Pokemon, you were originally able to keep going.
You can still go. Yeah, the trainer could probably still go, maybe. Yeah, and then you can try to go on instead of blacking out until the Pokemon beats you to death.
Yeah.
And then you black out.
Fuck. So what happens if you black out in a wild Pokemon battle? You're fucked.
You're fucked, dude. It's gonna rip you apart. A Kangaskhan, dude, you're done.
Who the fuck brings you to the fucking Pokemon Center then?
I always wonder that. Oh, so when you black out, the trainer that beats you brings you to the Pokemon Center? Is that what the theory is?
That's what my theory was, but me and Jeremy actually put it to rest a few days ago. You wake up and go to the Pokemon Center yourself. It's in the new games. It actually says that, and I just didn't know because I'm just that good, and I never lose a Pokemon.
You never
battle.
lose. Yeah, I've attempted.
I only lose to my friends, and you don't black out in the Pokemon Center when you're battling. So
Interesting. So that's fun. I see.
You can also find the text for plenty of unused badges. There's the Lightning badge, which is not the Thunder badge. It was separate because in Japan the Thunder badge is the orange badge. The Shell badge. The Jizo badge. Jizo is like a bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva.
It's a figure in Buddhist mythology, in like mythological Buddhism, not like real Buddhism.
Okay.
No
offense to those of you who don't believe in real Buddhism.
Well, I mean, there's religious Buddhism and mythological Buddhism that has deities and realms and ascending to enlightenment. And then there's just the basic, what the Buddha taught, which is just fucking meditate, don't be a dick, learn to clear your head, like don't do stupid shit. There was no gods or mythological beings or ascension. And in like mythological Buddhism, a bodhisattva is somebody who has achieved nirvana, has achieved enlightenment. But rather than moving on and transcending the cycle of death and rebirth, they choose to stay and help other people ascend and reach that point.
This. Okay.
So Jizo's one of them. Like, would be a Buddha, but Jizo personally swore, if I remember correctly, that they would never become a Buddha until all the hells were emptied or something. Because there's like different hells in like Chinese Buddhism. It's weird. Don't let that turn you off Buddhism, people.
No, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The most interesting thing you're going to hear the entire day.
Zen Buddhism is a very down-to-earth, simple, non-religious thing. That's the real shit. That's the real deal. What else? The Falcon badge, the Cool badge, the Friendship badge. That's the one. You give that one to Ash. Like, can I have the badge anyway? And
they're like, here, Ash.
I keep these ones just for cases like yours.
They direct him to a different area in the Pokemon
Whoa, the
League.
Marsh badge. No, that's the Friendship badge. Because you and Pikachu have such a bond.
You're such good friends.
That I just had to give you a badge.
Have a nice day now. Run along.
Go challenge the next gym leader. All right.
I'll be sure not to call him and let him know what he's in for.
Which, that's something everyone points out. Okay, you know what? Let's stop being a dick. We're all dicks. Instead of just making fun of Ash, oh, he never earns the badges. They just give them to him. Let's actually give him constructive criticism. Ash, if you don't win, you don't ask for the badge. You stay at that town. You go to the Pokemon Center. You heal your Pokemon. You go do some training, and then you come back and challenge them again, like we did growing up. That's how your Pokemon. You don't just move on to the next badge because then you're not prepared to fight the next gym leader.
You're gonna lose. But yeah, no, what Ash does is he sticks around the town for a little bit. He knows Team Rocket's going to show up and try to fuck some shit up. So he's the first one on the scene to fuck Team Rocket stuff up. They're like, I know what to do against these guys. I'm just going to beat Team Rocket up real quick. I'll get this badge in a cinch. It's mine.
He stalls. He's like, Team Rocket's not here yet. They're bound to show up any minute now.
He's like, Pikachu, why don't you start doing some thunders or something? Like, get these guys, attract these motherfuckers.
Right, he's in the middle of this gym battle with Sabrina getting his ass whooped, and he's like, Misty, and he signed a Team Rocket, and she's like, no, we're good. Why do you keep asking? Are you scared? And he's like, fuck. All right, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go buy an industrial-sized vacuum. And I mean industrial-sized vacuum.
A big-ass vacuum. You gotta hurry. I think she's about to kick my ass.
Put on a Team Rocket uniform.
She's gonna stick me in that dollhouse again.
The Rose badge, the Fireball badge, those are all the badges. There's also an item, it's just question mark, or whatever. Okay. But it allows you to surf without a Pokemon.
Like swimming, which is dope. You can do that in one of the Pokemon hacks that I'm playing right now. I'm actually playing, coincidentally, we're talking about the anime, I'm playing a game called Ash Gray right now, which is It goes throughout the entire. I just beat Mewtwo in the first movie.
It's actually good.
It's great. Yeah, I'm also playing one that everyone recommends. It's called Pokemon Glazed. It doesn't really need an introduction, but
Glazed.
It's glazed. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I hate to digress too much, but the game takes place in the Pokemon world, but your character is going to our world. And like he doesn't know what's happening. The story unfolds a little bit, and you learn a little bit why you're going to this world, because what's happening. Like he would come to this world, and people are playing Game Boy.
So the game takes place in our world, but you come from the Pokemon world.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. No. Well, it takes place in the Pokemon world, as all Pokemon games do. But for some reason, his consciousness is being brought to this world that you, I, and all of these listeners are living in, like playing Game Boy. Confused. They're playing Game Boy.
Like regularly throughout the story, these things happen?
Yeah, he just, like, after you beat a gym or something, all of a sudden, his subconscious or whatever gets brought to this world.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons where 3D Homer Simpson's walking around.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, people are playing Game Boy, and like she's like, "Oh, I got the Pikachu" or something like that, and like he's just walking around. People are riding bikes, not talking about Pokemon. Pokemon are not in this world. And before he leaves the first time, I'll never forget it. Before he leaves, he's like, "Wow, it would really suck to live in a world not knowing the love of a Pokemon, not knowing holding a Pokemon and knowing the love and compassion and friendship a Pokemon brings." And yeah,
those
I'm just like,
poor unfortunate souls. Thank God I was born in the right universe, in the multiverse.
Yeah.
So I'm just picturing, you're saying, there's people riding their bikes and everything. I'm picturing him like walking around, and there's somebody riding his bike towards him, and he sees him and he waves and he opens his mouth to speak, but a little dialogue box, a big old dialogue box opens up like down near his waist, and it says like, "Hello, stranger, can you tell me what town I'm in?" or something. And the guy on the bike's like, "Oh, fuck!" And the bike just like hits the dialogue box, and he goes over the physical comedy.
That is amazing.
Physical comedy is not the best comedy for a podcast.
No, not at all, but that is amazing. That is funny. That is funny. Yeah, that could actually be something. You could make a series out of that. Get on it, Dorkly.
But the item, though, back to that, so you can swim in one of these games was where we were coming. But
yes, yeah.
This would be an actual item, so people kind of call it the surfboard. I don't know, though. It's weird because, like, if you didn't originally use a Pokemon to swim, that doesn't make much sense because some of the earliest concept art is you riding on the back of your Pokemon, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen that.
So, I don't know.
Maybe it was before. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's... you can swim in calm waters, but waters that are going too rapidly or something like that, you have to get on your Pokemon to be able to surf on him, to be able to go through those waters.
Maybe it was something like that, and they just got rid of it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was such a far back relic that it was before they were even going to do HM moves, maybe? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Mm-hmm. The HMs were originally TMs. We know that much.
Okay.
TMs 51 through 55 were going to be surf, cut, strength, all them.
So they weren't going to be important, and you would lose them after using them the one time. Whereas the HMs, they don't go anywhere. They just stay in your inventory.
There might have been an extra like field move or HM move too, as there's an unused entry like in the data between fly and surf. And other than that, like all the HM moves are right there ordered by their number. Like in the internal data, they're not like, because sometimes in internal data, shit's just all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The game just knows where to look.
Yeah.
But all the HMs are right there, like in order from their number. So like, I don't know. And there's also this unused text somewhere for ground rose up somewhere. And it's theorized that maybe that has something to do with this.
The truck.
Yeah. But maybe the TM, maybe dig or something was a field. Well, it is a field move, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah. Dig's not an HM, no.
But you can use it outside of battle.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know. There was also text for an egg, which hints that there may have been eggs, or there probably wasn't breeding, so it was probably just an egg. Maybe somebody gave you an egg that would hatch. The Pokedex was another thing that was a key item that just decided they'd make that its own thing. But you were able to use it in battle, so that's interesting. Like I do wonder what would be the purpose.
Wow, yeah, what would the purpose be? Maybe that's what you... No, because there were always Pokeballs. I was thinking maybe that's what you would catch the Pokemon with or something. Or
you would definitely use a Pokeball or a capsule, but maybe you would get the info. Maybe like Ash pulling it out, and it's like Charmander, a flame lizard Pokemon. Like you would actually be able to
like
look.
All it does, yeah. That maybe it doesn't attack. Maybe you have a one attack that you can use.
I don't know. Attack? What, like the Pokedex?
Yeah, maybe the Pokedex would have something like
Zap.
Zap or some bullshit.
I don't know. My idea was maybe it would just, you'd be able to look at the information, and then they realized it was better to incentivize that. You want to see the information, you got to capture it, put it in your Pokedex, complete the Pokedex.
Yep. That makes much more sense. There's
a coin, which was an item, but it's not, it doesn't work at the slot machines. It's absolutely useless. You can't really use it for anything. It can be bought at $10, sold at $5. Maybe it's one of those like call today and get your commemorative Harry Potter 9/11 Barack Obama coin.
Oh God,
this is real U.S. currency.
Oh God, yeah.
Call now
for only
we'll throw in
$10.
a free vegetable slicer.
Well, yeah. Seriously, that has nothing to do with it. Like,
please, we got so fucking many of these. We got to get rid of them.
Got so many fucking slicers.
I don't know.
That's
it's
good,
real U.S. money.
Yeah, it was for $10. Yeah, but no, that's... Wow, what was the coin? It just said coin?
It's just a coin, yeah.
It's just a coin?
But it's an item, like, separate from your
item.
money, because you could buy and sell it. So, I don't know.
Let's see.
There was other things, there were a few, like, other music tracks.
Maybe somebody needed the coin. That's probably what it is. I bet somebody wants the coin. Like you give it was a fetch mission.
Yeah, there was a bum.
It's a fetch.
And sell it on City asking for change.
Yeah, he needs some change. He's gonna put it in the slot machine.
If you get change, he moves out of your way. So he won't let you buy. Not until you get me some change.
Change.
How do I just give him $1? He doesn't want. I don't want a whole dollar. I just want some change. There was a few trades that aren't in the final game. There was a Butterfree for B-Drill trade, notably. And then in the yellow version, there are 2 unused trades in addition to this B-Drill one, which still remains in the yellow version. And it's weird because, the B-Drill's nickname was translated in the yellow version. So that let me try to figure out how to explain what I'm thinking here. So the trade is in the beta. It never made it to the Japanese red and green versions, let alone the English red and blue versions, let alone the yellow version. It's just in the beta, still in the data for the game. So why did in the Japanese version, the nickname of the B-Drill was Chiku Chiku, and they translated that and gave it a nickname in English, Stinger. Like, do you think they just went through the data and were looking through line by line and they were just like, oh, we didn't change this nickname?
Yeah, maybe they were going to stick it in, and then eventually it just didn't happen.
Well, it was already not happening by the time Yellow came out in America.
Maybe the list was up, and they're like, all right, they're just
double checking, and like, oh, it looks like we missed that translation and didn't know it was something that wasn't actually
wasn't even going in the game. They just did it.
But weirdly enough, the other 2 trades, this is what I don't get. There's a Pidgeot for Pidgeot trade that didn't make it in the game. I guess I can understand why. That's weird. And then there's a Mew for Mew trade, which is weirder. And the Mew's nickname is Bart, which is the weirdest.
What? Wow. Okay, yeah, that's fun. I don't get that at all. That is, I don't understand. This is kind of at the height of the. No, I'm just trying to make Simpsons reference. That doesn't even. I see no correlation at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, Pokemon.com reported that Pokemon were going to evolve at different levels in Yellow.
Okay.
That never happened. Obviously, they all evolve at the same levels in every game. And there's data for battling without Pokemon in it. Like, your trainer just stands there in front of the enemy Pokemon, and if you try anything other than run away, like if you try item or bag or Pokemon, it just says, hurry, get away.
Interesting. Maybe that was just kind of like something in the play testing, because I'm kind of drawing associations with the bait and the rock earlier. Right. Maybe bait and rock was going to be in there. Or there might have been a point in the story where you didn't have Pokemon, like maybe at the very beginning, instead of Oak coming up to stop you. That's
maybe
probably
you just
exactly
go out.
what it is. Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. You got to get the fuck out of there because you can't fight these Pokemon. Yep, that's probably exactly what it is.
I don't know. Or maybe that's how you found Pikachu. Maybe Pikachu was the Pokemon encounter, and you're like, you don't have a Pokemon to battle with, and then something happens. I don't know. Who knows? And that's most of the interesting stuff. You know, a lot of the stuff we could talk about is just data, boring, and there's this track, and there's this unused map, and there's this variation on the Psyduck cry, and, you know.
Yeah.
Psyduck was originally called Psych Duck. He wasn't, but, you know.
Psych.
Psych. So that's our episode of Silph Radio. As always, we want to urge you to get in touch with us. Keep hitting us up on Twitter at FairPointPod. That's, of course, named after our other podcast, Fairpoint Podcast. Check that shit out. Check out Fair Enough Podcast. Like us on the Facebook, Silph Radio Podcast or Fairpoint Podcast. And go check out Steve's shit. When's that breast cancer episode dropping?
Next couple of days.
Okay.
Today's what, the 1st?
It's out
right?
by the time this episode's out. Then.
Oh, yeah, it's already out.
It's been out.
Yep. It's been out for a week or two. So, yeah, check out the HypedCheezeHead. Check out Steve Humphrey. If you like dancing, you like music, I'm all in. Let's play. So, yeah, have fun, everybody.
Yeah, there's more than just football shit. We didn't say that. But even if you're not into football, go check out his channel and see if there's anything on there you like.
Yeah, it's that good shit.
And we'll talk more about it in the future. For now, I'm Nathan K.
And I'm Steve Humphrey.
And don't forget the truck.
Don't forget the truck.